Okay, if you look at the workshop manual, it states that you should put your vehicle in gear, put the handbrake on, yada yada yada. But what happens in reality is that you still have a lot of slack in your transmission. This means there is an opportunity for the vehicle to actually fall off the jack while you're jacking it up, and that's even with one wheel chock fitted. For maintenance purposes, we cannot put the handbrake on. Basically, you want to make sure that the vehicle is not going to move in any direction whatsoever. So we have a set of chocks under one wheel on both sides. This stops the vehicle from rolling anywhere. Okay, you do need a flat surface to work on, like my driveway is here. And always, after slackening off wheel nuts, make sure that it is standing firmly on an axle stand before you work on it. Basically, with aluminium wheels, you're going to have the risk sometimes of it cracking or being over tightened. So you should be looking down in here to see if there's any damage. Your wheel nuts as well, of course, you want to make sure that the collar is there and you have a decent thread. Likewise with the wheel studs as well. If they're damaged, replace them. Whether they be steel wheels or aluminium wheels, check for cracks to make sure that the rims or the spokes are not damaged or cracked in any way, and the same applies for the mating face as well. What you should look for definitely is any signs of it shuffling or being loose. What I tend to do, and this is from heavy goods vehicles, is basically always clean the crap off the mating faces first before you go ahead and fit the wheel. This applies to the hub as well, because any rubbish that goes in between the wheel could possibly cause it to go loose. You also run the risk of having a wheel come loose if there is paint or copper slip lubricant on the mating faces. These vehicles carry a heavier weight than just a normal class 4 car, so you have to pay attention to this and make sure that your wheels don't come loose while you're carrying or pulling a heavy weight. If you look behind the Defender, you'll see a school bus and you'll also see a Arctic unit. This is actually my workshop working environment, so there's no talking out of backsides when it comes to the subject of fitting wheels properly. These guys here you see also will tell you exactly the same thing about mounting wheels. Aluminium wheels can corrode to steel hubs, therefore you should always take them off when you're servicing, inspecting regularly. You'll never have a problem with stuck wheels if you rotate your tyres when you're supposed to on a service schedule. If you don't know about tyre rotation, it is basically swapping fronts to rears to even up the wear on the tyres so you get the most out of the life of your tyre. Some people will use a lubricant between the mating faces. This is not a good idea in my books. However, I do lubricate the threads by just dropping a little bit of oil on the first few threads of each stud. If too much oil is applied, then there is a risk of the thread actually hydraulicking and coming loose. Aluminium wheels do not rely on the spigot here for support, however steel wheels may do, so with this type of design of wheel you can use copper slip on the spigot. Once the wheel's been mounted and you have your studs in place, there is the usual pentagram type 5-point tightening sequence which is in the workshop manual. Whether you use a socket and bar, ratchet or an impact gun, do not tighten the wheel nuts up too tight at this stage. Any over tightening could distort or crack the wheel. Basically, once you've got the vehicle down on the deck, you can see that I'm torquing up the wheel nuts to the correct torque. These will be found in the workshop manual. You'll see also I've put the wheel chocks underneath the wheel I'm torquing. So basically how it works with a torque sequence is that you torque up your wheels, leave it half an hour and then go back and re-torque them again. It's either that or your re-torque is after 50 miles. It would be wise to check your wheel nuts with a torque wrench regularly.